Hey guys, good afternoon. Today's video is going to be introducing the GRIDREADY charger tail light kit. I alluded to this in my last video and a few other mods that we were looking at doing. This one here seemed to be fairly straightforward, and you can see down there it's from GRIDREADY. Amazon, paid $22, $23 for it. Seems to be straightforward. Watched a few videos. I've seen people use a heat gun. I've seen people just stick it right on there without any real effort. So seems to be fairly straightforward. I did hear and that this one actually came with a couple test strips. So we do have driver fender, so two driver fenders, and then we have, looks like a driver trunk, and then this must be passenger trunk, and then we have the passenger fender. Sorry, camera there trying to zoom in or focus. So looks like it's going to be two-piece for the passenger, two-piece for the driver, and then some spare ones, which is definitely going to be helpful. I've never done any kind of wrap or tint. So this is definitely going to be a learning experience for me. So I'm definitely going to start with the driver. Looks like it did give us a little squeegee there, a little cloth, and it is recommending that we use a heat gun or a blow dryer. So I will be using my fancy Conair 1875 blow dryer, so don't judge. So we'll be doing that today, and actually, and I did want to introduce in one of my previous videos, I did mention a few other mods that we were getting. So did end up getting that oil catch can that I had mentioned. Went with a red one, looks pretty nice. Again, that's another Amazon. I'm an Amazon shopper for life, and some of the fittings, so we'll include the link on that. And then I did get the JLT Series 2 cold air intake kit for the 2011 to 2020 SRT 6.4. I do have that 2021 charger, but they said this would fit on there, so we'll be including that in a future video. And then you know, we'll go ahead and put up there a video showing how we installed that, and then I'll probably do a separate one for the oil catch can as well. So we'll go ahead and get started working on these. Hopefully it's as easy as it looks. Worst case, $22 down the drain, and some lessons learned there for us. So we'll go ahead and get started. Alright guys, that is pretty much it. It was not as difficult as I thought it might be, and it was actually easy enough to where I'm still going to be able to say I've never done any tint, because this was more like stickers than tint. As you can see from the side-by-side comparison, you just saw, you know, it does tint it down a little bit. You know, I can in person see a little bit of edge of the film. So I'm not sure if I like that. I'll have to see what it looks like out in the sun, and how that holds up with dirt or wax, see if I get any buildup on the edges there. Now I can kind of see why people might be wrapping the entire tail lights versus just doing that overlay film, if you will. So, you know, first glance looks good. I can definitely see, you know, that kind of blends into the centerpiece of it there. But at the end of the day, I didn't have to use the spare part ones, as you can see, pretty much peel and stick. Only had to use the famous Conair 1875 blow dryer on the edges there, so I still have the driver trunk and the driver fender one, so if anything does happen to at least the driver's side, I can repurpose that. I actually did start off using the squeegee, which I did not do on the right side, because I did notice as I was using the squeegee, just the squeegee itself, it seemed like it left maybe a little surface, I don't know, scratches, but on the film. So I would recommend using the squeegee wrapped inside the towel that they give you, the microfiber towel, and use it maybe like that, kind of like I did for the with the blow dryer and the edges there. But if you do get it on right on the money there, you wouldn't actually need the blow dryer, so I only had to use it because of this upper left corner right here. I didn't quite get it on the edge, and so there is a little bit of a fold, but I guess you can kind of put it a little bit more to the left. If you line it a little bit better, then you can probably get away with having any fold. This side here I did off camera, didn't think you guys needed to see that one done again. This one here I didn't need to use the heat gun at all. I was able to better line it, which, you know, anytime you do something for the first time, you make a mistake or two, and hopefully you can avoid those mistakes when you do it the second time. So they both sides turned out just fine. But if I was ever to do this again, I know to be a little bit more careful on how I do the alignment, where it meets here at the edge, and I could avoid the whole heat gun. So I'm glad I didn't go out and buy a heat gun, because I really didn't need it for this. But that's pretty much it. Definitely stay tuned for the oil catch can. Some of you probably have it. Some of you might be wondering, do I need it? How does it go in? I was actually going to do that today, but I had just driven the car to the car wash and wasn't able to get it washed. The line was just way too long, and the car was just too hot for me to get in there and do the oil catch can, so I decided to go ahead and do the lights. While I have you, I will go ahead and point out though, I did do the mud flaps. So these, whether mud flaps, mud guards, splash guards, these ones here on the rear are the JLT mud flaps that I did. They went in fairly simple, and you know, just had two of the plastic fasteners. And then I did go ahead, as I found them in the trunk, did find the OEM front mud flaps. I think they called them splash guards, I forget. But went ahead and put those ones in there. Those were not as easy as I had hoped. A couple of the fasteners did not, were not usable. They were a little too short for the additional depth of the splash guard. So I do recommend buying yourself some additional a variety pack, if you will, of fasteners. So I did end up having to use a few of these here. I think I ended up using the fender and bumper shield retainer. I did have to use those, so I had to take out the ones from the factory when I put on the OEM splash guards, and I did have to replace them here. And that took 4 of them. So the front's being held with 4 fasteners, and then the rear is being held on with 2 of the factory fasteners. The JLT ones were a little thinner, and I was able to repurpose those. So that was one of the musts that I had mentioned in my last video that I wanted to do. So you know, I was a little worried about them not matching, but at first glance, because you know, you got front and rear, you're not able to look at them side by side. The JLT ones do have a little bit more of a sheen to them. When the sun hits them, it is a different material, but from the most part, I liked it. It wasn't bad for, I think, 40 bucks for the JLT ones, and then free, of course, for the front OEM ones. So we'll be working on the catch can, and then also you can see I only got 700 miles on this thing, and everybody knows if you got a Skat pack that these brake pads are just terrible. So I'll be looking to probably buy some of the, I believe they're ceramic pads, to get rid of this brake dust here. The front, as you know, takes a little bit more of the beating. These ones are pretty bad. Don't even get to see those wheels. Back ones aren't as bad, of course, but nevertheless, that is just crap for a couple hundred miles. So I'll probably end up doing that. I just don't know if I want to get a little bit more miles on these brakes or just do it out of the gate. I did do those on the 2019 Challenger wide body I had, but I did wait until the brakes were due, which were about 20,000 miles. So, but anyway, there you have it. Oh, actually, let me back up. Side markers, that's something I'd like to do next, to tint out the side markers. That's a different kit that you could actually buy. So I wanted to start with the taillights, and then I might end up doing those side markers. Oh, and then also I did hit up a local place here for the wrap. So I was looking at the satin black wrap, so that's something I'm looking to do on the hood here as well. So stay tuned for those future videos. I'll definitely drop in the links to anything that we're doing or the locations I'm doing. They quoted me about 250 bucks, so you know, if you think 250 bucks is a bit much for a single hood wrap, you know, definitely let me know. I think when we called them initially, over the phone they said 240, but today in person they told me about 250, so I didn't want to call them out on 10 bucks, but that's something I'm looking to do. So if you have any other ideas, definitely let me know. And other than that, I'll look forward to chatting with you guys on future videos, probably the catch can and or the JLT performance cold air intake. All right, take care and be safe.